So Haro should slowly move towards the top side. You'd expect Xiaohan to move down towards the bottom.
And we can see the bot lane. EDG has pretty much given up the push already, leashed for their own jungler, and they're now sitting behind tower, sitting underneath tower. It's going to take Haro to come.
Let's see if he does move down, because they're up against the Janna as well as Varus lane. Yes, they have Unsealed Spellbook, but RD's picked up Barrier. Lumao has Heal in this bottom lane. They're going to be continually pushing in this Kog'Maw as well as Braum. Good trade rate.
Yep, doesn't really take any damage. Negates the entire tower shot with the adaptive shielding right there.
And that's really where our focus is lying. We already posed the question like this: does Mouse make EDG or did EDG make Mouse? Because on Rogue Warriors is doing fine now. They're 7-2. They were able to take down EDG. Mouse got his revenge.
Definitely he did. And it does look like it kind of has been the EDG style, forcing the sacrifice from their top laners, giving them less gold share and telling them to basically be a teleport bot. But with Ray, they're trying to multiply the number of playstyles they have.
It worked out in game one. Yes, a little bit shaky, but still did work out with Mako playing Shen. And that was the big difference. We saw Cleater able to get ganks in the top side of the map. Early on, Zoom was able to control him. Now he's on Nah. Maybe be able to control Ray a little bit easier. Right now being pushed underneath his turret, Ray's doing a good job. But without that Shen, Xiaohan could try and make his way into the top side of the map, try and punish Ray and see if that playstyle still works for EDG.
Yeah, Gnar does have a lot more outplay potential compared to the Ornn. He's more mobile, can deal more damage, and it's more of a bruiser matchup between these two. And if he can hold his CS to basically this differential, then it's fine for the Gnar. It's going to take a very long time for a 4-1 to get started from EDG. However, EDG, they still have a very good late game composition. I would favor them.
The lane on the top side map is pushing back against Ray though. Haro is trying to sneak into the brush in the top lane. Does give Camille the passive though. So that could have been spotted out by Zoom, but he does not get locked down by Ray.
Very careful play from Zoom right there.
Very patient play coming out from Nara as well. Haro has not gone back to base though, Zoom. So he's able to get a little bit tankier. Won't give the same impact if Ray was able to pick up that little bit of extra gold. The rest of the map, though, has just been a farm fest. You can see in the mid lane right now, Scout teleports back into the lane, hits level 6 a little bit earlier, tries to continue pushing in against Yakao. Bottom lane, just teleports everywhere, Clement.
Yeah,
there's
it's
4
so
on
hard
EDG. Make it stop.
Still in the Unsealed Spellbook meta. Cooldown hasn't really been changed there. But we do see Galio having a bit more control over the lane. And Jingdong's playbook has been to get Yagao moving in the early game.
He's getting good damage on the Scout here. Clears out a Vision Ward while he's at it. Xiaohan is not close by though, and Scout just turns on the pain, even Valkyrie forward. Phosphorus Bomb! Couple more would be enough, but he can't get him because Stopwatch is there. Xiaohan forced to show up, making sure he can keep his mid laner safe.
A bit of a weird situation. Xiaohan did not immediately run towards his mid laner's rescue, actually pathed away from him. So it's either Yagao not calling for help soon enough or Xiaohan just ignoring him.
And look, we've talked about this guy on your screen a lot already. Ray being unlocked in the top side map. Look at Scout. That's 2 games now where he's looked so different from the rest of the playstyle from the start of this split. He's aggressive in mid lane, forcing Stopwatch out of Yakao. We saw his Vladimir last match being able to pull back the game for EDG. They look incredibly different going into this game in comparison to how they played against Rogue Warriors.
I don't understand what's really happening on EDG. Theoretically, you could do the same things with iBoy. You can have him play safe, and I don't think anyone really expects iBoy to sit out for a prolonged period of time. But without him, they're just so much better.
And again, Haro is trying to make his way towards top side map, looking to try and put the focus on Ray, not on the bottom lane.
Yeah, and EDG are fine with it, which is a new look for them. Throughout their history, they've never been a topside focused team. You could say maybe Koro at one point gave them the edge in the top lane, but that was very brief in their history overall.
However, it's JDG trying to make a play in the bottom lane. This is where EDG are normally strong. Xiaohan is level 6, but Winter's Bite connects from Mako. The Scorpion's a little bit too slow to collapse onto Kog'Maw.
Also uses his Predator right there. A bit of a forced attempt, I would say.
And again, Ray getting good trades on the top side of the map against Zoom. Zoom's about to go Mega. Doesn't connect with the stun, however.
Misses the W as well. The HP here really has to force someone from Jingdong to come and help out this top lane.
And it's going to be Yakao. He does have ultimate available. Will be spotted out by a control ward, though. So Ray knows this is coming. The slam backwards comes out from Zoom. Yakal's now going to try and jump in. Ray knew that he was here, but he still opts to go for the fight. Incredibly low now. This should be a kill going towards JD. He wants to try and kite through the brush, but it's not enough. Big mistake by EDG's top laner.
Yeah, Ray did have the chance to really walk away from the situation, but decided to stay for some reason. He was caught by Zoom's ultimate right there, so a very good play on the tip of the iceberg, really pushing him back.
And there we go, Yako able to help him out, top side of the map. That's the relief that Zoom needed almost. He's going to be able to push in there. No teleport available for Ray, so he'll miss a couple of mini waves. Did give Scout some time to get good damage on this mid lane out of turret.
Ooh, Skarner is going to force Scout away.
He's forced to flash away, but Yakal flashes forward as well. Uses the stopwatch early. There is no Sejuani here, and Skarner locks him down with a stun. They don't even need the Skarner ultimate, as Yakal's going to pick up another kill for himself, this time in the mid lane.
Oh, that's got to feel bad for Scout. He actually did place the ward down, but was caught out anyway. Kind of going over-aggressive in this situation, the 1v1 on Yakal.
Almost feels like JDG were downloading EDG in game number 1. Now they know exactly what they're going to do. They know Scout's going to be aggressive mid lane. They know Ray is the one they're looking to try and carry the matches. Focus a lot of tension towards the top lane as well as the mid lane, bringing them back 2 kills, crucially onto Yakao as well.
Yeah, this does unlock a lot of Jingdong's strategy, especially in that bot lane. Skarner also chipping in there, Shahan getting a kill over the wall. The bot lane, I feel like, is where they're going to go next. Now they have Yagao able to roam away from that lane.
The top lane is what's under threat here for EDG. Ray is able to get good trades against Zoom. Sejuani is waiting in Fog of War. Corki has the package, is moving up. Skarner has been spotted out. That good vision was controlling this, but Scout was spotted out by a ward at the Raptor camp. Now one placed down by Xiaohan. Can Zoom escape this? Does have flash, he's going mega shortly. Teleport forced to be used by Galio.
They're going on Xiaohan instead.
Package being used on top of the Scorpion as well. They get some damage, but that's about it.
Good defense here from Jingdong Gaming. Definitely spotted both members.
They're going back in. Double blast cone being used. Xiaohan looking to try and see if he can collapse on towards them. Locks down Sejuani first. Haro gets the uppercut as well as the taunt to it. Xiaohan just drags him back into Nah. Yakao picks up his 3rd kill and double buffs.
And here is the difference between Jingdong with main lane priority and without mid lane priority. They're able to defend all the blows coming out from EDG. That was the 3rd gank in a row Haro threw into that top lane, but Jingdong were able to read and defend it.
But this is so much better from JDG as well. This is the playstyle we expect from them, working around Galio, focusing top side of the map and trying to get these laning phase advantages, and they've now done so in the early game.
Yeah, 3-0-0 out from Yagao. You have to remember this is an AP Galio we're talking about, so a lot of damage coming out at this point. So far, the only lane that has been doing okay and not giving up ground has been Hope in the bot lane.
Oh yeah, that Galio is going to make sure someone gets hurt real bad. Zoom's still going to be pushing into top side of the map here. Ray has teleport for himself, but he's a level behind now at the moment. Slowly, we'll be able to catch up in experience.
Yeah, and the first item buy is very much an advantage for the Gnar. Triforce is a significantly more expensive item. So if he's able to hit those items first, then he really doesn't have much to worry about in the top lane. And it's going to take even more pressure from EDG to really get Ray going.
Well, we finally get to take a look at the bottom lane here, which has been fairly even between the 2 teams. Hope has a slight CS lead, but you expect that to change once Rageblade is picked up and Artie has more priority down there.
It's interesting. Actually, EDG's bot lane doing very well for itself, not losing any damage on the tower either. This is a double counter lane, and they're playing it out very smoothly. You can look at the warding control as well. It's completely in EDG's favor in that bot side as well. So while we've been talking all about Ray, EDG has kept the win condition in their own pockets.
Yep, Hope's still playing a hyper carry. Their bottom lane is doing perfectly fine, and they've gone back and picked up the Rage Wave. Partially could be due to the unsealed spellbooks coming out from the 2 teams, teleporting back into the lane. But it's a teleport towards top side map from their bottom lane. JDG want this turret.
Oh, and they're doing the instant swap, the 3-man, doing the proactive first move with the Herald as well. So they're going to be able to trade 2 for 1 if they so choose.
What do EDG get? Looks like they're going to try and move towards a Mountain Dragon, and JDG are not stopping. They're still pushing towards top side of the map. The only members that EDG can rotate up here are Camille as well as a Corki.
And this is what you can do with Unsealed Spellbook. This is one of the great moves that HQ is actually known for currently in the LMS as well. Just doing the preemptive teleports.
There you go. Artie brings the AHQ strategies to his team. That's what Jingdong Gaming really needed against EDG. Moving in for the top lane in a turret as well. Yes, Mouse Dragon will fall. Bottom lane Adder should fall for EDG, but a big play from JDG gives them a nice early game lead.
Yeah, massive 3-for-2 trade, and now they're still going for the mid tower. There's no one here to defend.
As you mentioned though, Xiaohan does have that Rift Tail, so they could break this mid lane turret relatively easy. Hope is stuck in the bottom lane. He does not have teleport right now, can swap over, but has to go back to base to do that.
And Jingdong are pinging that out. They know Hope, there's no way he can, there's not a hope for him to come and save this tower.
What do you do if you're EDG? Because you're all over the map.
Oh wow, that was so well played. It really came down to Jingdong really calculating how many shards does EDG have. I suspect the situation was Hope and Mako, because they're in a bad matchup, they probably had to use their unsealed spellbook shards for teleports into the bot lane, and Jingdong, with that calculation, knew that, hey, we're going to have an unanswered teleport, and our lanes are already pushing here.
And they don't get punished for it. Scout will look to try and trade in that mid lane, but it's still a turret up trade even if he gets it. For JDG, Xiaohan returns, Yakao returns, and although that turret is low, it lives for a while longer, forcing another pressure point on the map.
Yeah, the only real advantage EDG got out of that was they had some solo farm on Hope, but that's very negligible in the grand scheme of things. They lost their mid lane tower. They cannot turtle anymore.
It's 10 CS at the most, what separates the two AD carries. I think the big win they can take from that is Summoner Spells being burnt, but, I mean, Blue Mao as well as RD, Summoner Spells are almost back off a cooldown because Unsealed Spellbook's a thing, giving them 25% CDR in this current patch.
And with an open map, this favors Jingdong far more than it does EDG. EDG is the one with the late game composition. They want the laning phase to go on as long as possible. They want to scale up and not be pressured at all. But with the mid lane tower going down and Galio having mid lane priority at the same time, it means that Jingdong can suddenly attack and really overpower one of these side lanes.
So to start the match, yes, we see some signs of aggression from EDG similar to Game No. 1, similar to their new form, so to speak. But now they have to go back into and see if they can do a full 5-on-5 fight, what they were known for, especially when they were running iBoy. For JDG, we have the same questions before the match. Yes, they get an early game lead. They get 3 kills on Yakao. They get early turrets. Can they transition that into a late game or mid game fight? But they're trying to cut off that man. Yakao just gets locked down by everyone, and EDG find a pick.
Such a clever way. They avoided all the warding from Jingdong. They actually just went through the Raptors and basically all used their gap closers to go over there and avoided all the vision. Jingdong had the Baron Pit perfectly set up, but they could not anticipate that play at all.
And is this where they start to falter? Because again, they got the early leads. Can they transition? EDG are stopping them from now and showing that they're not going to be pushed over that easy. There were some fancy plays from JDG, but doesn't seem to have phased them. And the gold is only 400, which is what separates the two teams.
That was just one blind spot on the map. One blind spot in the entirety of the river. And EDG were able to find and abuse that.
And it's through 2 great control wards as well. One placed just south side, red buff, one in the river brush that's leading to the top side where Rift Herald and Baron spawn. And now JDG, they're going to put their AD carry support back into the bottom lane. You can see multiple members of EDG trying to rotate down here. Even Camille is here.
Galio still does have his teleport, so he can assist if needed.
Scouts is coming back up shortly. So is Zoom. Zooms is up and available too.
Very explosive siege now.
Just a 3-on-3 here. Just a 3-on-3 in the bottom lane. Zoom is down there as well, making sure that if a fight breaks out, he is closer than anyone else from EDG. However, Ray is rotating back up towards the top side of the map. Will show himself. So now JD know that they have some time to work with while he's in the top lane.
Ooh, this is very dicey for Jingdong. If you look at the warding from EDG, they have a lot of back wards that if any of these trades go wrong, they can instantly teleport and basically clean up the fight before Jingdong can. I like Jingdong are basically pulling back.
I mean, you can see it on the minimap. Take a look at all the wards that are placed so forward by EDG. However, JDG, they control the river right now. 2 wards being placed there. But still, the wards that are placed down by EDG escape that vision ward radius can't be cleared out by JDG at the moment.
Definitely.
Both teams playing the vision game very well, and it leads to the play being fizzled. Nothing happens.
Yeah, Jingdong, they can't keep their foot on the pedal anymore. If anything goes wrong underneath that tower, it's an instant 3-man wipe. So they don't want that pressure there. They probably have an inkling that Mako has dropped a couple of wards into their own jungle. Not going to continue that play.
And no one wants to team fight against EDG as well. You don't want to go into a full 5-on-5 unless you're confident that you're going to come out ahead. Any 50-50 play, it's a little bit risky when you're going up against a team that specializes in just that.
Yeah, EDG so far have been doing a very good job of keeping the map spread out. They're not giving Jingdong a chance to group up when they are strong, when Varus is stronger in the matchup, to really make the plays happen. And a lot of it has been, you know, Corki roaming down towards the bot lane, Ray keeping his side lane constantly shoved and not allowing Jingdong to get those 5-mans.
And they make these swaps again with RD as well as Rimao and Xiaohan not in the bottom lane. Gives them time to put Hope and Mako parked in the mid lane. A scout that rotated down. He's clearing out the bottom lane against Yakao. Both mid laners just split pushing right now, and both teams going into a 1-3-1 for now.
Yeah, the big point about the map allocation is if Scout can match up to Galio. As long as they have that matchup down, then Scout can always teleport back into the fight. And Galio doesn't really have that much of a pushing advantage over the Corki at this point in the game. What they don't want is the 280 carries together, though.
It is an AP Galio, so it could be a bit difficult for Scout, but right now it seems like he's doing perfectly fine against him. Cloud Dragon's up and online as well. EDG picked up the first Elemental Dragon, which was a mountain. Our teams often try not to fight for this objective, but it could be a point where EDG try to press a 5-on-5 fight against JD.
EDG are the ones that are trying to play this scaling game, while Jingdong Gaming have to make things happen in the early and mid phases.
The underway pings are coming though, Clement. Both teams, they want to go for a fight. They want to fight now. Cloud Dragon falls first, so JD get the objective. EDG don't rotate in time. They can't catch them out.
Yep, and that really does come down to Galio really having a bit more pressure in the bot lane wave. Able to come there to the defense earlier, while Scout was stuck in the bot side tower, cleaning up the minion wave.
So good lane assignments coming up from JDG allows it for that objective. A small one though, just an Elemental Dragon and a Cloud Dragon at that. Gold is still fairly even. 500 gold in favor of JDG. Key items are being picked up across the board as well. We already mentioned the mid lane for Galio going full AP. Zhonya's complete with a fully stacked ROA. Scout is looking towards his first complete Zeal item, has an extra BS Sword and Trinity Force. And the bottom lane, although Varus already completed his items, has that Wit's End, already has the Rage Blade. Hope is still looking for a bit more gold before he can purchase his own Wit's End.
The main problem for Jingdong here is even though they had a good early game, they weren't able to establish vision on Haro. What they want to do is basically keep tabs on the Sejuani so they can overload on the side lane where Sejuani isn't there. Because they don't know where Sejuani is most of the time, they haven't been able to punish any of these side lanes. Gnar at this point isn't really afraid of that Camille. Galio, at the same time, isn't really afraid of the Scout, of the Corki either. Which
is what you complimented EDG on earlier. They found the one blind spot. They were able to place down the control wards in the right locations for Haro to be invisible when EDG needed him to be. Really unlocking their jungler well. But if you want to look at the opposite side, Xiaohan, yes, he might not have that luxury at the moment, but he is Skarner. There's no QSS picked up by anyone yet.
Ooh, that is a very interesting point to point out. If they ever find a chance to really go ham on them, there's no escape for Hope. The cleanse doesn't do you anything against the impale coming from Skarner.
That's all that Hope has right now.
They do need to find opportunities to go into the enemy jungle, though. This is something that I really have to criticize Jingdong for. They had a lot of winning lanes and more lane priority, but they haven't been able to transition that into the enemy jungle.
And now they're trying to do just that. They're rotating into the mid lane, rotating into the jungle. In fact, Xiaohan flashes forward, even gets Hope's flash on top of that. Mako is going to fall, and moving straight into the jungle, they get a pick for themselves.
Great play. They should have been doing that a couple minutes earlier, but this is going to give them full Baron control.
Better late than never, and JDG are going to try and push through mid lane first. There is a rotation coming out from the bottom side of the map, which will make this a 4-on-4. However, there is teleport available for Zoom. There is a ward placed down next to the Raptor camp as well. Ray is still waiting in the wings, looking to see if he can find an opportunity to go in. Hope's going back to base. He didn't have the Wit's End during that fight. Now he's able to pick it up.
This is smart play from Jingdong. They don't push their luck. Instead, they said, hey, we have Zoom in the bot lane. There's no one defending this. Let's just back up and let him do his job.
They're trying to rush back in though. EDG teleport into the mid lane, coming out from Mako. Hope is still rotating down. JDG just looking to try and control this Baron pit, but they force Ray back down into the bottom lane to defend the turret.
Yeah, but both of these top laners still have their teleports. It's about if Jingdong can get a pick here.
And they get him again! No! Once bitten, twice shy. It's not the case for Mako, because JDG find him again.
Jingdong taking a page from EDG's playbook, setting up the play on the exact same spot.
And you said it was a little bit too late, Clement, but they get Mako twice. They try to force down mid lane, and now Zoom's going to have access to the bottom lane. We asked the question, can Zoom control Ray in this matchup? I think Ray has to control Zoom at the moment.
Yeah, and it really has been about that mid lane priority from Jingdong. They set it up in the ban pick phase, and with Yagao able to neutralize the early ganks coming from Haro, they also free Zoom on the map as well. He's able to push up on that tower. He's not afraid of the 1v1 from Ray.
But all they get from that is some vision control over Baron buff. You can see the control wards placed down. Deep wards in the red side of EDG's jungle. And they get the pick onto Mako twice. So chip damage on turrets, deep vision control. JDG really need to rinse and repeat though.
Yeah, they definitely do. That's not enough of a gold advantage for them going into the late game. I would say EDG are still sitting fairly comfortable with this gold deficit. Jingdong, they do have more of the early game compositions, you know, the Varus against the Kog'Maw. So they do have to kind of push their tempo a little bit, and it is going to be about the catches.
Both the carries from EDG saw what happened to Mako, like, that's not happening to us. They're going back and pick up a QSS for themselves. We see the very liberal use of summoner spells from Hope once again. They were initiating on Mako. Mako flashed away. As soon as Skarner came forward, Hope was out of there. He was like, I don't want anything to do with this. That's not my support. You could take him. I don't know that man.
It's a really interesting thing because when we ask LPL junglers, why is Skarner so popular all of a sudden? It's because it delays the items on the enemy carries. It forces them to go into a QSS. Forces a basically 3k gold lead with just one pick.
And if Xiaohan still able to get picks on the likes of Mako, even Haro or Ray, still effective. QSS is there as a protection measure for EDG, protection measure I should say. Hope has cleanse as well. Scout still has his heal as defensive summoner spells to go with flash. And JDG are still trying to work for vision control. Here's Xiaohan being a little bit threatening there. He's still going. Oh no, Scout, you better run. Forced to use the QSS, but can he keep going?
Oh,
that's
RD
a flash forward from RD. They take him down. Even Yaka wanted to join the fight. They get the mid laner from EDG.
And they are playing the four-man game so perfectly right here. If you look at the four people from EDG, they don't have a lot of tanking power. They don't have a lot of stats. Haro hasn't even completed his Warmogs, so they know they can basically instantly kill any member here.
And Ray looks like he can't really control Zoom all that well, or can he? Because he's flashed forward on top of the Gnar. Good damage coming out of Zoom. It's really close. Zoom's going forward as well. Boomerang Blade comes out, gets that kill. On the flip side, top side of the map, Baron's being worked on here. Haro's over the wall, looking to try to see if he can get into the fight. Lumao throws down his own ultimate, keeping his team healthy. Zoom has joined here. He is fairly low on health, but Yakal's threatening with a taunt. He goes over the wall, stops him. Haro can't get into the pit. He can't steal it, but what the heck? Mako throws out the winner's fight. How do you do that? He saves the game for EDG. He steals Baron from Jingdong.
4 games in a row, Jingdong gets their Baron stolen by someone. How is this even possible? They were playing a 5v3 scenario. Haro missed his flash over the wall, and EDG get Baron? I didn't even see that. I was watching Haro. I was like, okay, maybe Haro, this is their only chance, but Mako?
Look, spring is approaching here in Shanghai, but Mako says winter is still coming for you with this steal.
How did he even do that? He doesn't have his flash.
He just gives them the steel chair. Steel chair right to the Baron's face. Smackdown, pins him down. 1, 2, 3, you're out.
That must be a huge morale disaster for Jingdong. It's happened over and over again for them. Every time disaster strikes in the Baron pit, you have to remember Xie just stole away a Baron from them with the tip of a Q. And now Mako?
I mean, screw the other series, Clement. Yes, it's been 4 series where this happened to them. But last match, JDG get 2 picks. They go for a 5-on-3 fight over Baron. And they can't win the team fight. Now they do exactly what you said they needed to do. Set up vision at red buff. Have Zoom split push. Zoom destroyed Ray in a 1-on-1. It was a 4-on-5 fight. And they get it stolen by a support?
I can't imagine the mentality that has to go on right now for Jingdong. They have to try so hard to pull themselves out of a mental boom. we have seen them play significantly worse after they have their Baron stolen, and it's happened so many times in a row right now. But to go back to the game a little bit, what this means is that EDG, they're going to have free reign to scale up. This 4 minutes is going to be a honeymoon period for them. They can have their Kog'Maw pick up more items.
Well, they can try and lock down Ray. No flash available for Camille. Hook shot should be coming back up, but JDG get another pick for themselves. So do they? Ray! He's not able to get away. Flash forward coming out from Xiaohan. Now Mako, the man who stole Xiaohan's Baron, tries to come to the fight to save him. Not able to do so. JDG get another pick for themselves. They still have the gold lead here, 2,000 gold up.
That was a very good stabilizer and a question mark for Ray right there. What are you doing in the river? Past that point, none of your teammates were there to help and no pressure on the map elsewhere. So a good chance for Jingdong to kind of calm themselves and plot themselves back into the game.
And it really throws more questions towards Ray. Game 1, he looked good when he was ahead. He looked dominant when he was ahead. Even in this match, when he had the comfort of Haro in his back pocket, looked good. Had the lead against Zoom, could still go toe-to-toe against him. The moment he falls behind, however, in this match, JDG have been punishing him. Not just from Zoom one-on-one, but catching him out with the likes of Xiaohan. And although EDG can count their lucky stars in that steal, JDG, they don't seem tilted at all. They're tilt-proof at the moment, still pushing for objectives in the bottom lane.
Exactly, and this is what we wanted to see from Jingdong. Maybe it's the veterancy of RD rubbing off on the entire team. Maybe something the coach said to them has really helped them out. But after the Baron steal, this is the best they've played after a disaster like that.
EDG are going to try and use the Baron the best they can, pushing through mid lane. Xiaohan is trying to collapse in. Yakao, no flash, does have flash. Sorry, they lock down Hope. Gets a big shield to kick things off. Yakao with the early Zhonya's to avoid the ultimate from Braum. Ray jumps back in. Corrupting Chase coming out from RD. Zoom gets the first kill onto the top laner. Yakao tries to protect his allies. Still looking to charge forward. Not too much crowd control left for JDG, but they get the one pick and they defend the turret.
Yeah, EDG trying to push their luck with the Baron buff, thinking that they could probably take it to Jingdong's court. But the thing really there was, I feel like Ray actually overextended quite a bit. He didn't manage to dodge the chains of corruption and just put his team in a very bad place. So instead of the tilt from Jingdong, we're seeing a bit from Ray.
Oh, Hope now looking to try and see if he can stand and deliver. RD using his own stopwatch. Liu Mao throws out the ultimate to keep him healthy. Xiaohan has the ultimate, drags back the ball, and Haro goes down. RD gets the kill, pushing onto mid lane in the turret.
Haro is not a tanky Sejuani at all, doesn't have the resolve tree, also very behind on his items, falls down instantly, and that was a very good flank from Xiaohan. It didn't look so good for RD at the start of that, but able to force the flank and force members of EDG to back off.
Despite EDG clawing themselves back into this match, JD are relentless. Clement, yes, you said they could have done it a bit earlier, but they're executing this over and over again, getting deep vision into the jungle, picking off EDG one by one, and taking those small objectives piece by piece.
Yes, Jingdong, they do have a good coach in UDJ. He's been around forever, and we really do see, even though they're a relatively new team with new members like Yagao and kind of Xiaohan here, they are stepping their game up. They're not letting the defeats of the previous few weeks really get into them.
On top of that, not just the defeats, Clement. The same thing has happened to them so many times, but they're still going, you know what, guys, we're okay. That's fine. It's just unfortunate. We've still got this, and they still go to the same playbook. The exact strategy their coach has probably told them to set up over and over again, and it's working out for them. That is a true test of mental fortitude here.
Yeah, and better matchups all over the map coming out from Jingdong. This has really been the reason they've been able to swing the early game and take it to EDG so far. We can see the Gnar in the bot lane, Zoom really having a very good time. They're able to set up on Ray, and it doesn't seem like Ray's ever going to get to that point where he can split push at all.
And as Zoom can control Ray in that manner, EDG might not find the opportunity to go for a 4-on-5-on-5-5, especially if JDG are looking for picks before they go for objectives. That means EDG will never be 5-member strong. They'll never fight where they're known to be strong late game. And what we've seen from them in game number 1 has just completely disappeared. We don't see the top side playing without their AD carry. We don't see them being able to split up the map up. And now JDG looking for more fights. Mako trying to run away, but they turn it around. Good damage on Xiaohan. Good protection though. Everyone just saves the Scorpion. He's now trying to retreat. Can Yakao survive? Forced to use the Zhonya's Hourglass. Is he just a sacrificial lamb? Throws out the Winds of War. Ray comes to the backlines. EDG may have found the fight they want. First kill goes into a scout. Valkyrie forward. Hope's going to help him out to pick up the double, and the rest of JDG retreat. Dre's now jumping in. Zoom tries to stop a good double stun, but it's a triple kill for Scout. He is still going forward. EDG even teleporting back into the mid lane.
A 6v5 coming in, and EDG really outplaying the surprise attack from Jingdong.
And
Jingdong, it was in the middle of the lane.
And they did it. They found what they wanted. EDG got a 5-on-5 fight. Took Ray some time to get there, but the pick doesn't work out for Xiaohan. They might try and end the game. That's what they're looking to try and do, Clement.
Oh my god, that one misplay from Jingdong Gaming. They tried to overplay their hand. They had the pushing sideways, but still wanted to end early.
And they're able to take down the support as well. Scout looks for more blood. He gets the delayed pentakill. Doesn't quite count towards the stats, but EDG turn it around. They're going to pick up game number 2.
It's such a sudden turn of events. Jingdong didn't need to go for that play. They tried to push their luck. They were in the middle of nowhere. They had so many ways to outplay EDG, still wanted to go for something fast and quick. Look, for no reason.
New play styles in game number 1. You bring in a new carry of hope. You see EDG count their lucky stars with Mako Steel. Bring us up to 1977, Clement, because this is EDG A New Hope.
Definitely that new rise of a series coming out and showing a new face right there, being able to outplay the initiation from Jingdong, split-second reactions, being able to back away and then go back and punish the Jingdong overstep. Weird game from Jingdong though, very weird game.
One mistake, Clement, one mistake from JDG.
Yeah, and they really are still a team that's very much growing up, one of those up-and-coming teams. They had 3 winning lanes, had a chance to control the jungle, really took too long to do it, and then went for such a risky play to end the game for themselves. Ray was already on the ropes. Hope didn't look like he could reach the late game. The map was in Jingdong's favor. Just rush play.
We said they didn't set up their strategy early enough. Better late than never. They pull it off 3 times in a row. Go towards Baron. Mako, of all people, steals it. And JD said, you know what? That's fine. They still find the picks after pick. Zoom still is able to take it to Ray. And they push hard for one more in the mid lane. It doesn't work out for Xiaohan.
I understand what they were trying to do. They thought they could get to the fight scene faster because the Galio was already rotating. Corki was nowhere to be seen, but they fumbled the execution so hard. And I really do have to question, was that a necessary play at all? When you have side lane control, when you can transition that into full spectrum Baron control, is it really worth it?
And it shows once again, just like you don't face off against the Dothraki in an open field, you don't face off against EDG when they are grouped up as 5, because they will tear you apart. They don't care about your team composition. They don't care about your gold graph, Clement. They will fight you 5-on-5 and they will win.
That was such a rapid turn of events, straight from 4.3K all the way to an EDG victory. I wasn't ready for that.
No, I don't think anyone was ready for that comment. And credits where credit is due for Jingdong. We criticized them game number 1. Didn't execute on what they are well known for as their win conditions. Didn't play their strategy well enough. Changed everything game number 2. Zoom was able to control Ray. They got the early advantages in the laning phase. They didn't set up those picks as soon as we would have liked, but they did. It worked out. And really unlucky Baron steal. Team fight gets turned around. EDG have to be, you know, although feeling happy they picked up the victory here today, you'd be sweating after that match.
Just one winter's bite away from going on a 4-match losing streak. That was how close EDG's legacy was going to fall into tatters, and they were able to save it from the brink of destruction. Props to Jingdong. I felt like they had such a good game. They fixed the solo lane matchups. They were a little bit slow on the junglers, but it all came down to that one initiation, one rush play.
They looked tilt-proof for so long, but it's the final fight where EDG come out strong. They pick up the 2-0 victory. We're going to send it back to our analyst desk to break it down.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys.
Dom, I've got it.
Whoa, all right.
JD,
do I get to be the analyst now?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm so excited.
JD are the Dignitas of the LPL, and they should just never go near the Baron, ever.
Oh, man, we got to get Raz on this desk to confirm or deny whether or not that's the case.
Get the guy who relegated the team on the desk.
Throwing some fire here. Holy cow. But to be completely fair, I think Fish said it best. EDG, when they took a bow, they weren't smiling. They weren't laughing. They were, oh, we won that. We should not have won that, but we won that.
Yeah, it was high stress pressure from EDG. You know, this crowd is a mostly EDG home crowd. They went completely silent, and so from up here, you can actually hear the players calling out. And Mako, very rapid, very vocal. You saw him on his camera, like very intense. He gets picked back to back, actually dies the first time placing vision, teleports, tries to get back into control of the Baron. And the reason why he teleported and basically just ran back into his death is because poor little Haro had to sit and play red zone defense. And what happened is at 23 minutes, it was 170 CS to 104. So a massive difference between the two junglers, because Haro's literally just sitting behind the pit like, you know, Mako, until you get this warded, I can't farm my jungle. I have to sit here.
Yeah, and that being said, we have to compliment Xiaohan and RD coming in for JD. You know, we were a bit skeptical of these new players showing up in their rookie games here in the LPL, and then they put on a performance like that. Xiaohan on the Skarner. When he got the Cloud Dragon on top of the Predator, I had to have a chuckle because he was so fast.
Yeah, just zipping out. But I do want to quickly go back to the Baron play because we're talking about the Skarner, and what's important is not necessarily that the Baron was stolen out. Yes, that puts a massive hurdle into JD's way that they can't just snowball it in the game. But what it does is it puts a 4-minute timer for EDG to acquire itemization like QSS. Before going up into that Baron, they didn't have any way to deal with the Skarner or any of the hard CC that was coming out of JD's composition. Post Baron, it gave them enough time, it gave them enough gold to not only stall and not necessarily use the Baron offensively, but to stall out, find their QSS, find this way to deal with the CC, and that was a big factor of why that last team fight, EDG were able to punish on the misexecution.
And speaking of misexecution, we actually have an opportunity to take a look at that Baron steal from Mako coming in with the Winter's Bite. Man.
Yeah, I also do want to give credit to Hope because yes, the Winter's Bite is ultimately what gets it, but check out the Caustic Spittle as well. Like it
was timed as well.
Yeah, right there. So Mako obviously being the puppeteer, the puppet master there, and saying like throw in every skill shot you have right now.
Yeah, we kind of joked about the fact that Mako is probably like reaching his hand over and playing both of the computers at once, but I mean it just shows that hey, even though Hope is coming in for iBoy, we're still seeing cohesion between the two. I was a little bit curious. There was one play I actually want to get your insight on when Xiaohan ran in and there was the Braum and the Kog'Maw side by side.
And he just grabbed the Braum?
And he grabbed the Braum because Hope flashed back. Now, if you looked at the player cam, Mako was just talking. And my heart says it's right for the AD carry to flash away because it's more important for the AD carry to stay alive. But my head is like, it's Mako. He's the shot caller. He needs to stay alive and see what's going on.
No, it's better for the AD carry to stay alive.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
It could also have been that while Kog'Maw disengaged himself from being a viable target, that also means that there's no one for Braum to jump to. So it could have just also been a missync of trying to create that safety net for Braum, but maybe the Kog'Maw flashed too far out. I have to take another look at the play.
Certainly. But to get further into that sort of mentality from the likes of EDG, this wasn't their best game. Ray went back to the Camille. We saw Haro try to camp that top lane unsuccessfully with Zoom going the full tank Gnar. He goes Black Cleaver, even has the Airy for lane pressure, but then immediately goes into tank.
But a lot of that was matchup based. So because they ended up with the Kog'Maw Braum matchup and they JD were able to prioritize a heavy pick or first priority onto Varus, they were automatically going to win the bot lane. And when the teleports, the unsealed spellbooks came through, Clement talked about it on cast, that JD just had a better read on when they had their shards, so they knew they had a free TP. And that was a really cool play. From about 12 minutes to about 15 minutes, JD just ran the map, and it snowballed the gold so progressively out of control. Then they got the Cloud Dragon, and suddenly you have this Skarner or this free initiation potential alongside the Galio, and EDG don't have the gold to A, keep up with the itemization. Varus and Kog'Maw have very similar breakpoints, and B, they don't have the gold for the defensive itemization to deal with any of that hard CC, so they just got steamrolled.
Let alone the gold to try to fight out the wards and vision that JD were so aggressively placing that enabled Xiaohan to just walk in and look for targets.
That was a huge missync, though. Like, if I was going to criticize, it was a good point that you bring up. If I was going to criticize anything from EDG that game, it was their inability to clear out the offensive vision from JD. The fact that Mako gets caught back-to-back solo, why isn't he there with Haro? Why isn't he there with his team? Why do they not have priority of the side lanes? he wasn't with his team because they were out farming all of the pressure that JD were putting around the map. So JD played the Baron setup very well, but EDG played the defense on the Baron very poorly.
Yeah, and you're exactly right on that, because EDG, we've actually got that final fight ready for you guys. They demonstrate once again why they're such a terrifying 5 versus 5 team. Just like you don't fight the Dothraki in the open field, you don't fight a grouped up EDG.
And there is one of those QSSs. So Mako, like I said, before the Baron fight, they didn't have the QSS. Post-Baron fight, they have the ability to use their cleanses, their QSSs, get out of the CC, make sure that no one can chase them down, and then turn this fight with a very deep flank for Bray.
Coming in from behind to lock down RD so that Scout can finish it off.
And I do want to give huge credit to Scout. We've been talking a lot about Mako and the vision control of EDG and the Baron steal to swing it back. This was probably the calmest and cleanest game from Scout that I've seen in a very long time, especially because Yagao on that Galio got a very early, or participated very early on in 3 kills, so had a massive gold and pushing priority on Scout in the mid lane. Scout dealt with it. He tried to respond to his side lanes. He kind of hung back, and normally Scout is very aggressive, kind of like turn and burn type of style. Like you will either die or I will die. But played it much more patient.
He's actually going to take our man of the match with the likes of that Corki. A great performance from him. 6-2-0.
And this is what EDG needed for this game. They just needed a stable member to group around. Ray kind of collapsed up in the top lane, didn't get the same Camille performance. Hope, very green. Mako, maybe even a little bit tilted, you know, walking in blind. Haru's brand new, so it was kind of time for the other veteran member of EDG to step up and say, rally behind me, I will be the strong point, it's fine, we're going late, boys.
And this is actually something that's a little bit new for the likes of EDG. They have a bit of a tendency to get just a touch emotional. It's not super swingy, it's not super late, and usually you look to the likes of someone like Clearlove, who has huge experience to stabilize the team, to be that sort of captain. When we saw their set against Rogue Warriors, Mako is the one who's supposed to accept that responsibility as the captain on the Rift, but he did not. Very early on in that game, too, you could see he was getting very upset. There was, and at least from what I saw, it looked like there was a bit of potential for EDG to go down that same route, but it was Scout, of all people, who is the rock in the mid lane to keep that stability for the team. One
of the strongest factors of EDG is their endurance. We don't normally talk about tilt when we look at this team. We have said in the past that if you can shake Clearlove, that EDG would crumble, and it almost looks like a very similar thing with Mako. I agree with you, previously in the series versus Rogue Warriors, a lot of the pings, how Mako was performing, even kind of putting his face into plays here. I don't necessarily want to go as extreme in calling it tilt, but you can definitely pick at the core threads of EDG, and they will start to fall apart, and that does start with Mako, and it's nice just to see Scout for once really kind of step up into this position of being the solid mid laner for EDG, because for the longest time, he's been in Pawn Shadow, he's been in Faker Shadow.
The double-edged blade.
Yeah, he's been a kind of an afterthought or simply just a weapon that they use as opposed to a leader. He's no longer the sword, he's the guy wielding it.
Well, this could be an opportunity for EDG to continue to grow. Of course, with this win, that brings them to 7-3 in the standings and gets them that much closer to catching up with Rogue Warriors and catching up to Snake.
Yeah, they're looking for their revenge when we come out of cross-conference. They still have their match of the week later on this Sunday. EDG will clash across from RNG, and we've already seen the incredible performance that Uzi is putting up. And so now the question is, does iBoy start or does Hope?
The question remains. We've got the prodigal son, the crownless prince against the newcomer, the hot new fire of iBoy. Of course, with our prior win as well, FPX, they're at 5-6, RNG at 6-4, getting closer and closer to locking in that playoff spot.
And getting closer and closer to our standings, looking how we would expect. It's just Team WE that's kind of just dragging up the back end there, but RNG, EDG making the surge that we expect of these big, heavy hitters and legacy titles.
Finally, it's good to see these large legacy teams begin to reclaim that glory. Because again, RNG, they're world semi-finalists. We have got to be so excited for all of that. Not to mention WE on the other side, the middle of the pack, world semi-finalists as well. And now they're kind of middle of the run for these LPL teams. Lots of chances for them to continue to grow.
It's simply something that's very unique to our region. We play so many games, 14 teams, 4 different arenas, best of 3s all across the board. We play 6 days a week. And so unfortunately, when you kind of get into this grind, week 6, week 7, you start to see the difference between the good teams and the great teams, because the great teams recognize, okay, we have to turn it on now.
Yeah, and we've got a chance to see more of those great teams on Friday. We've got Suning versus FPX, and shortly thereafter, Invictus Gaming versus Billy Billy.
That was a very interesting pose from Amazing J. I had to take a double take. I was like, oh, okay.
He's rocking out in the top lane. He's got to go up against the Shy, who was our top.
So Haro should slowly move towards the top side. You'd expect Xiaohan to move down towards the bottom.
And we can see the bot lane. EDG has pretty much given up the push already, leashed for their own jungler, and they're now sitting behind tower, sitting underneath tower. It's going to take Haro to come.
Let's see if he does move down, because they're up against the Janna as well as Varus lane. Yes, they have Unsealed Spellbook, but RD's picked up Barrier. Lpl has Heal in this bottom lane. They're going to be continually pushing in this Kog'Maw as well as Braum. Good trade, right?
Yep, doesn't really take any damage. Negates the entire tower shot with the adaptive shielding right there.
And that's really where our focus is lying. We already posed the question like this: does Mouse make EDG, or did EDG make Mouse? Because on Rogue Warriors is doing fine now. They're 7-2. They were able to take down EDG. Mouse got his revenge.
Definitely he did. And it does look like it kind of has been the EDG style, forcing the sacrifice from their top laners, giving them less gold share, and telling them to basically be a teleport bot. But with Ray, they're trying to multiply the number of playstyles they have.
It worked out in game one. Yes, a little bit shaky, but still did work out with Mako playing Shen. And that was the big difference. We saw Clear able to get ganks in the top side of the map. Early on, Zoom was able to control him. Now he's on Nam. Maybe be able to control Ray a little bit easier. Right now being pushed underneath his turret, Ray's doing a good job. But without that Shen, Xiaohan could try and make his way into the top side of the map, try and punish Ray and see if that playstyle still works for EDG.
Yeah, Gnar does have a lot more outplay potential compared to the Ornn. He's more mobile, can deal more damage, and it's more of a bruiser matchup between these two. And if he can hold his CS to basically this differential, then it's fine for the Gnar. It's going to take a very long time for a 4-1 to get started from EDG. However, EDG, they still have a very good late game composition. I would favor them.
The lane on the top side map is pushing back against Ray though. Haro is trying to sneak into the brush in the top lane. Does give Camille the passive though. So that could have been spotted out by Zoom, but he does not get locked down by Ray.
Very careful play from Zoom right there.
Very patient play coming out from Gnar as well. Haro has not gone back to base though, Zoom. So he's able to get a little bit tankier. Won't give the same impact if Ray was able to pick up that little bit of extra gold. The rest of the map, though, has just been a farm fest. You can see in the mid lane right now, Scout teleports back into the lane, hits level 6 a little bit earlier, tries to continue pushing in against Yakao. Bottom lane, just teleports everywhere, Clement.
Yeah,
there's
it's
4
so
on
hard to
EDG.
punish lane.
Make it stop.
Still in the Unsealed Spellbook meta. Cooldown hasn't really been changed there. But we do see Galio having a bit more control over the lane. And Jingdong's playbook has been to get Yagao moving in the early game.
He's getting good damage on the Scout here. Clears out a Vision Ward while he's at it. Xiaohan is not close by though, and Scout just turns on the pain, even Valkyrie forward. Phosphorus Bomb! Couple of more would be enough, but he can't get him because stopwatch is there. Xiaohan forced to show up, making sure he can keep his mid laner safe.
A bit of a weird situation. Xiaohan did not immediately run towards his mid laner's rescue, actually pathed away from him, so
So Haro should slowly move towards the top side. You'd expect Xiaohan to move down towards the bottom.
And we can see the bot lane. EDG has pretty much given up the push already, leashed for their own jungler, and they're now sitting behind tower, sitting underneath tower. It's going to take Haro to come.
Let's see if he does move down, because they're up against the Janna as well as Varus lane. Yes, they have Unsealed Spellbook, but RD's picked up Barrier. Lpl has Heal in this bottom lane. They're going to be continually pushing in this Kog'Maw as well as Braum. Good trade, right?
Yep, doesn't really take any damage. Negates the entire tower shot with the adaptive shielding right there.
And that's really where our focus is lying. We already posed the question like this: does Mouse make EDG, or did EDG make Mouse? Because on Rogue Warriors is doing fine now. They're 7-2. They were able to take down EDG. Mouse got his revenge.
Definitely he did. And it does look like it kind of has been the EDG style, forcing the sacrifice from their top laners, giving them less gold share, and telling them to basically be a teleport bot. But with Ray, they're trying to multiply the number of playstyles they have.
It worked out in game one. Yes, a little bit shaky, but still did work out with Mako playing Shen. And that was the big difference. We saw Clear able to get ganks in the top side of the map. Early on, Zoom was able to control him. Now he's on Nam. Maybe be able to control Ray a little bit easier. Right now being pushed underneath his turret, Ray's doing a good job. But without that Shen, Xiaohan could try and make his way into the top side map, try and punish Ray, and see if that playstyle still works for EDG.
Yeah, Nard does have a lot more outplay potential compared to the Ornn. He's more mobile, can deal more damage, and it's more of a bruiser matchup between these two. And if he can hold his CS to basically this differential, then it's fine for the Gnar. It's going to take a very long time for a 4-1 to get started from EDG. However, EDG, they still have a very good late game composition. I would favor them.
The lane on the top side map is pushing back against Ray, though. Haro is trying to sneak into the brush in the top lane. Does give Camille the passive, though. So that could have been spotted out by Zoom, but he does not get locked down by Ray.
Very careful play from Zoom right there.